Chapter 4. A Flight for Life. The morning after his interview with the prophet, John Ferrier went to Salt Lake City. He found an acquaintance who was heading to the Nevada mountains and entrusted him with a message for Jefferson Hope. He explained the imminent danger and the urgent need for the young man's return. Having done this, Ferrier felt a weight lift from his mind and returned home with a lighter heart. As he approached his farm, however, he was surprised to see a horse hitched to each gate post. Even more unsettling was the sight of two young men in his living room. One, with a long, pale face, was leaning back in a rocking chair with his feet on the stove. The other, a thick-necked youth with coarse features, stood by the window whistling a hymn. Both nodded to Ferrier as he entered. "Maybe you don't recognize us," said the one in the rocking chair. "This is the son of Elder Drebber, and I am Joseph Stangerson. We traveled with you in the desert when the Lord gathered you into the true fold. As he will all nations in his own time," the other added in a nasal tone. "The wheels of God grind slowly, but they grind small." John Ferrier bowed coldly. He knew exactly who these visitors were. "We have come," Stangerson continued, "at our father's advice to ask for your daughter's hand. Since I have only 4 wives and brother Drebber here has 7, it seems my claim is stronger." "Wait now, Brother Stangerson," Drebber interrupted. "The question isn't how many wives we have, but how many we can support. My father has given his mills to me. I am the wealthier man." "But my prospects are better," Stangerson argued. "When my father passes, I will inherit his tannery and leather factory. Besides, I am senior to you in the church." "The girl will decide," young Drebber said, smirking at his reflection in the mirror. "We'll leave the choice to her." Ferrier stood fuming in the doorway, barely resisting the urge to use his whip on them. "Listen to me," he said, stepping forward. "When my daughter wants you, she'll send for you. Until then, I don't want to see your faces again." The young Mormons stared in shock. To them, competing for the girl was a great honor for the family. "There are 2 ways out," Ferrier snapped. "The door or the window. Which do you prefer?" His expression was so fierce that the visitors scrambled to their feet and beat a hurried retreat. Ferrier followed them to the porch. "Let me know when you've settled which one it's to be," he shouted sarcastically. "You'll pay for this!" Stangerson yelled, white with rage. "You've defied the prophet and the council of 4. You'll regret this for the rest of your life." "The hand of the Lord will crush you," Drebber added. Ferrier started toward his gun, but Lucy held him back. The sound of galloping horses told him they were already out of reach. "The young hypocrites," he spat. "I'd rather see you in your grave than married to either of them." "So would I, Father," Lucy replied firmly. "But Jefferson will be here soon." It was indeed time for help to arrive. Ferrier knew his wealth wouldn't save him from the elders. Brave as he was, the invisible, shadowy terrors of the avenging angels unnerved him. The next morning he found a square of paper pinned to his bedsheet. In bold, jagged letters, it read, "29 days are given you for amendment." And then, the dash was more frightening than any specific threat. How someone had entered his locked room while his servant slept in the outhouse was a mystery. The incident chilled him. The 29 days were the remainder of the month Young had promised. The terror continued. The next morning, a large 28 was scrawled in charcoal on the ceiling. The day after, a 27 was painted on the outside of his door. Every morning, a new number appeared in a conspicuous place, on the walls, the floors, or even the garden gate. Despite his vigilance, Farrier could never catch the person responsible. A superstitious horror took hold of him. He became haggard and restless, his eyes filled with the look of a hunted animal. The numbers dwindled. 15, 10, 5. Whenever a horseman passed on the road, Farrier rushed to the gate, hoping for Jefferson Hope. When the number reached 3, he lost all hope. He was trapped. The roads were guarded, and escape seemed impossible. Yet, he never wavered. He would die before dishonoring his daughter. On the evening when a 2 had appeared on the wall, Farrier sat in despair. Suddenly, he heard a gentle scratching at the door. He crept into the hall, his heart racing. Was it an assassin? He threw the door open. Outside, the night was calm and silent. No one was there. Then, looking down, he saw a man lying flat on the ground. The figure writhed into the hall as silently as a snake. Once inside, the man sprang up and closed the door. It was Jefferson Hope. "Good God!" Farrier gasped. "You nearly scared me to death." "Give me food," Hope said hoarsely. I haven't eaten in 48 hours. He devoured the bread and meat on the table. "Is Lucy okay?" "Yes, she doesn't know the full extent of the danger." "Good. The house is watched on all sides. I had to crawl past them. They're sharp, but not sharp enough for a Washoe hunter." Farrier felt a surge of hope. With an ally like this, anything was possible. "What's the plan?" "Tomorrow is your last day. We act tonight. I have a mule and horses waiting in Eagle Ravine. We'll push for Carson City through the mountains." They prepared quickly. Lucy was woken and told to pack only her most valued possessions. Jefferson packed water and food, knowing the mountain wells were dry. "The front and back are watched," Hope whispered. "We'll go through the side window and across the fields. We're only 2 miles from the horses." They extinguished the lights. Farrier looked one last time at the fields he was abandoning. He carried the gold and notes, $7,000 in total. They climbed out the window into the darkness. They were halfway across the fields when Hope suddenly pulled them down into the shadows. His lynx-like ears had caught a sound. A mountain owl hooted nearby. Another answered. 2 shadowy figures appeared in the gap of the hedge. "Tomorrow at midnight," said one, "when the whip-poor will calls 3 times. I'll tell Brother Drebber. 9 to 7? 7 to 5, the other replied. As soon as the sentries vanished, Hope led them forward at a run. "We're through the first line," he panted. "Speed is everything now." They reached the rugged path leading to Eagle Canyon. Jefferson Hope led them through the boulders and dried watercourses with unerring instinct. They found the horses, mounted, and began the dangerous climb. On one side was a 1,000-foot drop, on the other a wall of rock. But their hearts were light. Every step took them further from the tyranny of the saints. Suddenly a voice rang out from a rock above. "Who goes there?" A lone sentinel stood, silhouetted against the sky. "Travelers for Nevada," Hope shouted, his hand on his rifle. "By whose permission?" "The Holy Four," Farrier answered. 9 from 7, the sentinel challenged. 7 from 5, Hope shouted back. "Pass, and the Lord go with you," the voice replied. They had passed the final outpost. Freedom lay ahead.